Hello, good people. How you doing? We are connected, you and me and everybody else here on the panel. This is SNN Street News Now. We do this every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Hope you are well where you are always. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel and type in SNN Street News Now. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Also catch us on Facebook Live, Twitter, and of course on Twitch. As I call all of us the masters of intellectual chaos, and disaster. Disaster come on later on. All of you coming on board, thank you so much. Our fearless leader, Lee Michaels, may or may not be here. We'll see what happens. I know he is a very quite busy individual. As I bring forward the other members of the panel, of course, let's bring forward Dr. Ron Ford. How you doing, sir?
So
How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here. Another Thursday night. I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to come before the peoples on today and just, hey, do what we do, bro.
That's right. The ladies and gentle peoples, always in full effect.
Yes,
Never do without them. Absolutely. Mike Love, how you doing, brother?
Good. I was just admiring his slave talk. It's right around June 19th. So, I guess it's appropriate.
Juneteenth, yeah. You also did you get anybody get a Juneteenth ice cream?
No.
Okay, just checking.
There's nothing. I don't see the celebration of Juneteenth. I don't get it.
I understand.
Because it was a misnomer for the most part. Texas was the last state to find out. They celebrated. Mm-hmm. And it's just some BS to me. That's where I am. I mean, I'm glad slavery is over, but I don't want to celebrate no parts of slavery. None.
You are not alone in your thinking.
That's all I got to say about that.
You said it. And also bring forward to the panel Mr. Buck Weezy.
It's funny you say that. I don't know if we're even going to start talking at this point, but that is what I've been saying for the longest time. I had this discussion on the air the other day. Mm-hmm. And it was like, really? We're celebrating this?
There's nothing to celebrate about it. I get what they're saying. It was announced that, slavery was over. Whoop-de-freaking-do.
Right.
How does it make us look, too? It's like, oh, well, we didn't know. It's just like,
Well, it's funny. I did a commentary on that from the desk of Dr. Ron on this past weekend, and I let them have it with both barrels. I told them, I said, look, first of all, they brought us over here and put us in slavery. Okay.
In the first place, right.
In the first place. And then when the President Lincoln decided that, okay, we're going to free the slaves, Texas decided, well, we ain't going to tell the slaves in Texas that they free until 2 years later. And then once they decided to send down a group of troops down to Texas, to Galveston, to get them free, they didn't give them no 40 acres and no mule. They didn't give them nothing to be able to establish a family legacy for themselves. Off of all of the, free labor that they got off of, slaves. And then
even for those 2 years,
man, look, it's a lifetime of slavery. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then you fast forward to now and say, okay, well, in the North, we're going to celebrate the fact that we kept you in slavery an extra 2 years, and now you ain't slaves in that capacity no more, and we're supposed to be happy about it. No, we ain't happy about it. I've always known about Juneteenth celebrations because I have done shows in Houston and different parts of Texas, and even in Chicago on the West Side, they would do Juneteenth. Bless you.
I think he got some of that on me.
They did Juneteenth, parades, and they did Marcus Garvey parades. They've done Malcolm X parades. They're Afrocentric, to the degree where they're trying to celebrate our history. And I get that. But I promise you, I wasn't trying to go around to no picnics and celebrate nothing dealing with Juneteenth. And guess what? Newsflash, I ain't going to be going around trying to celebrate
Right, exactly.
July
It's
4th
just
either.
in.
Yeah, July 4th either. Okay, because that ain't got nothing to do with me either.
Well, that's always like a discussion amongst black people. Well, yeah, independence, but was we independent? Was we free? Yeah.
Well, we take responsibility of wanting to be Americans. So I don't have a problem with the July 4th part, but the Juneteenth is just making absolutely, positively no sense to me. And it's nothing to celebrate. And I just think that it's really unfortunate that, yeah, we got the announcement. I get what they're saying. Okay. We're celebrating that it was announced, but that wasn't good news.
Right.
And
if it had been an Emancipation Day, where they just
it didn't
celebrated
need
the
to be no day.
Yeah.
Because it should have never started. What the hell did you leave the British what do you call it? Empire. You didn't want to do what they said do. So you get on 3 little lazy ass boats, come over here. Half of the people who came on the original trip died.
Were
because they didn't even know how to take care of themselves outside of living.
Most of them were criminals.
Right. It was a real dicey set of people who did it. Then you tried to force us to believe that Christopher Columbus discovered America, and there were already West Indians and the sorts already here. So the story you'd be better off just kind of tiptoeing away from it and let it be, and we don't look back and just kind of move forward. I'm not wearing no Juneteenth shirt. I'm not celebrating the situation because, like you said, if we didn't have any business being slaves from the beginning.
Right. So wait a minute,
End of
Mike.
story.
Wait a minute. So Mike, you didn't go get no Juneteenth ice cream?
I didn't.
I was just gonna say that. Rod stole my joke.
I didn't Juneteenth nothing.
I'm sure they had a couple of truckloads of Juneteenth ice cream from Walmart.
Oh, they
available.
had ice cream. They had parades, picnics.
They should have had watermelon flavor. That's what
man.
I kind of glanced through the celebration that Jesse Collins put together for BET for radio folks out there. Jesse Collins, when I met him, was doing overnights at WPTC in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
No, at
and where?
WPTC.
Oh, really?
He was the overnight guy, and I'm happy for anybody's success. The next thing I know, he's got a production company and he's doing award shows, and I'm
before that though, he was at KGLH years and years and years ago.
Oh, okay. I didn't know anything about his past.
And the Beat at one point too.
How often do you see the overnight guy at a radio station?
Never.
Never. Okay. So that's
Look at Chris shaking his head. Never.
You never see the overnight guy. And the overnight guy, triumphs. And that's why I said I'm happy for him with his business, Jesse Collins Production. Clearly that. But once again,
didn't he do the Super Bowl halftime show?
He may have. He's been
I think he
very
did the whole Dre
successful.
thing.
Yeah. And he's kind of a quiet guy, kind of laid back. I mean, he's not all over the place. I mean, he was a good guy.
And good on the air. He was good on the air too.
It was good. I mean, once again, I got to be honest, not because I had a reason not to, but when he was on the air, I was asleep.
Right.
So I didn't, he wasn't on at a time, morning drive, afternoon drive, a time that you listen and you go, oh man, he kicked ass on the air.
Yeah. Although he could have been. He was that good. And I heard him in LA. And he was really surprisingly good. And it's like he could never seem to get out of those, weekend air shifts or, overnights, whatever he was doing. Yeah. But
then that puts a question mark on how really good he was.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes somebody was there before you. You know what I mean? You just can't really help it. So.
And I'm not putting a black mark on him. I'm just saying once again, opportunities come, and they come for different reasons in radio. Somebody right place at the right time. The last point that you really being good has always been secondary, to the point that you don't use people who've been in the business for 10, 15, 20 years. You go and get comedians and other people who were in the entertainment business in order to be successful in the business. Nothing wrong with that. But once again, it doesn't say much for the people outside of Tom Joyner, who actually, a real radio guy, made it all the way to the top. Cheers to him.
Now, one thing about events, so you were talking about the BET event, CNN televised a very positive concert too. That wasn't too bad.
That's what I'm talking about CNN. I wasn't talking about BET.
Oh, I thought you said BET. Yeah.
No,
CNN,
he produced the one for CNN.
Yeah, it was very good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the Jill Scott piece though. She threw me off. She wasn't there. They brought her out. I guess it must have been pre-recorded. She was in an auditorium that was empty. She gave like this kind of like I don't know if she read a poem,
spoken word piece.
A spoken word thing. And I thought maybe I've had too much alcohol and didn't understand the whole purpose of it.
And you probably did.
It was a long show too.
It was.
Yeah, it was very long.
I didn't see it. I don't watch CNN anymore.
Yeah, and it was an exclusive on CNN. Nobody else carried it at the moment. Yeah, at that moment.
Anybody get CNN Plus?
No.
Anybody get CNN
you know
Plus?
what was really crazy? That they had it at the Hollywood Bowl.
Right.
If it's Juneteenth and this was about the announcement 2 years late in Texas, why wasn't that done here?
In Texas.
I live in Dallas, Texas, for anybody that's watching. That's another thing that I didn't understand.
Should have done it in Galveston.
Yeah, for the most part. I'm more than sure they got an amphitheater down there of some sort.
Yeah, they do, actually.
Yeah.
I think the Selena auditorium is down in either in Corpus Christi or Galveston, which is really right across the waterway from each other.
Yeah, so I didn't understand the whole Hollywood Bowl. What was that all about?
That's where all the money was at.
Or easier to do for them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's where all the money was at. Yeah, how much money down in Galveston? The only thing they talked about Galveston was the 90-year-old lady who campaigned.
Yeah, they interviewed her several times
to get this as a holiday, and the march that she did at 92 years old, 91 years old. She campaigned real hard to get this,
and that was admirable.
Yeah, public awareness type.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
but
oh, can I ask a question here? Chris Bates, why you looking so spiffy tonight, bro?
Oh, this whole thing?
Nice. That looks nice. I'm not mad at that at all.
Thank you.
I'm not mad at that at all. It's a good color blue.
Yeah,
it is a nice. It's soft.
Well, thank you. The blue's my favorite color. I figured I'd treat myself back on.
I didn't know that. Blue's like my favorite color too.
See, well, there you go. See,
yeah,
that's funny. Nice. Red's my favorite color.
Yeah, we know you wear a lot of red
and brown because I like. Yeah.
Gonna be one of them kind of nights.
Wait, let's.
My boy Jim. Jim is in the building right here, baby.
Yeah. James,
single barrel.
Sure, right? Yeah, there you go. You know some really call him Jim. Real name is James. James Bean. And you take
Mr.
it from
Bean.
there.
Exactly.
Mr. Bean is anything else I can get for you. It's Juneteenth.
I would take the Jim Beam over some damn ice cream. I'm sorry. So, I would take that. That's nice.
I heard that.
Although together, that might be kind of good too.
Yeah, rough combination. Especially if you're lactose intolerant. Don't do it.
Especially.
Yes. Listen,
yeah.
You don't want that.
Yeah.
So let's set the table for what happened today during the June 6th committee. First, before we hit today, FBI searches Jeffrey Clark's home. Before we get into all that, the former president, Donald Trump, sought inside help for the Justice Department to execute his campaign to reverse the 2020 election, according to the evidence presented to the House January 6th committee today. Quote, just say the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and a Republican congressman. This is what Trump implored to the justice officials in December 27, 2020. That conversation memorialized in then acting Deputy Attorney General Richard Donohue's notes. After Donohue and then acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen rebuffed Trump's promise and pressure, they testified today that he threatened to replace Rosen with Jeff Clark, an inexperienced loyalist who had been drafted and had drafted a letter asserting that the outcome of the election was in doubt and urging states to certify slates of fake electors. So I'm watching part of it, and it seems to me like anything else, you're dealing with a person in Trump and administration that deals with inexperience. As we all know, they shouldn't have been there in the first place. But when you talk about an obvious situation where he lost the election, now he's trying to use a little power he has left to overturn it, to get people to realize that, hey, you know, I really want it. Again, you're abusing your power. For example, him and his so-called attorney, Rudy Giuliani, had 30 cases to go against coast to coast about them losing the election, and they lost all 30 cases, all 3-0, just all together. Also dealing with the fact that another thing came up, British filmmaker Alex Holder has footage and outtakes of his documentary called Unprecedented. It would be released later this summer on Discovery Plus. He interviewed Trump 2 months after the insurrection, and some of the excerpts were shown today on CNN. And with all this other evidence coming through, it seems to me that it's like anything else. Remember the scene in Colors? It was Robert Duvall and I can't think of the other guy's name real quick.
Ice-T?
It wasn't IT. It was his cop. It was his partner, the younger guy. I'll get in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get old. I can see the person's name.
Hey, trust and believe me.
Man,
I can't help
no
you
joke.
with this one.
Right.
I don't remember.
So,
I'm not getting old.
Yeah, okay. You're fantastic. Sean Penn, thank you, Jed, in the chat room. So he mentions, going back to what Duvall was saying, there was these two bulls. It was an older bull, a father bull, and a younger bull. The younger bull said, man, let's run down there and F one of those sheep. And the older bull says, the father says, no, let's walk down and F them all. So what I'm saying is that I think the January 6th committee is walking down.
Yes.
In this situation. They're walking down and trying to get everybody all eventually. So you got to go through all of these particular sheep around them to get to the main sheep, but unfortunately it's Trump. And so even though a lot of people are kind of on the fence about will Trump, be indicted or not indicted, but even put on charges, it remains to be seen. I don't trust the government at this point, but hopefully it will be the right thing. So let me go to Mike Love first. When all of this is going down, I know you've been busy, but you've been seeing news items here and there. What was your takeaway?
I think it's somewhat a gross waste of time.
Me too.
Because at the end of the day, the problem with the political process is that it's almost like a Robert's rules that you use, when you're having like board meetings and this kind of stuff. And there are rules for being a politician that these people cannot get around. The politicians, even the ones who are trying to take on the abuse that Donald Trump brought to this nation, are a part of that system. And it's unfortunate in this situation that they got all the text messages where they were telling him to call off the march, and they were telling him he was going to get in trouble, and they were warning him about this. But they had solely no control. And at the point that you're going to support a party that's corrupt says that you have to be corrupt. So how do you get on the other side of the fence and say you're going to take someone in your own camp out when you were a part of that process? It's not making any sense to me. It's a waste of freaking time. They're
Like
not
this
going
whole
to
thing.
send.
Like
Say
the
that
whole
again.
thing. Like the whole thing makes no sense.
It makes no. They're not. Donald Trump's not going to jail. The only
they
thing
know
that
it.
the only thing that can possibly happen is that he won't run. Because right now, it's been a cluster fuck. And I'm going to say that respectfully in this whole process. Right now, because we don't understand the electoral process and how to get people in it, I have no problems with any of the politicians as men. The problem I have is with the system. How old is Biden?
200.
Seriously.
That's really in his early 70s, yeah.
Yeah.
Or not early 70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Why
late
would
70s, I think.
why
Okay, I'll
would the
check.
political party even entertain running him for president? It didn't make any sense. You don't want to give him a driver's license. You want him to retire peacefully. You don't take this man and put him over the most powerful land on the planet.
In the hot seat every day.
In the hot seat every day. The man has fallen twice.
Okay, my
He
bad.
just
He's-
fell
I'm
last
sorry.
week.
My bad. He's 79 years old.
He's okay.
There you
That's
go.
it. Why did we elect someone 79 years old to be the president of the United States?
I think some of us were expecting that Kamala Harris, being so much younger, would have more of a role, supporting role, kind of prop him up a little bit. You know what
the
I mean?
Constitution doesn't call for it.
Can you hold Joe up and like just in from the back? You know what I mean?
No, that's bullshit. The Constitution doesn't call for it. The president is the president, the vice president, the speaker is the speaker, and the list
you're
goes
right.
on.
I'm just saying in people's minds.
I know. I get what you're saying. I'm not disputing you. I'm disputing the process because that's where the problem is. The process. See, Donald Trump understands the process is corrupt. He keeps trying to tell everybody this is corrupt. They keep trying to say he's bad. He's bad news. Don't trust this guy.
And both are correct.
And both are correct. Thank you. Both are correct. You just made my point, dude.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That both are, and that's what I'm saying. And at what point are the American people going to wake up and realize that we got to start demanding some shit?
We ain't.
And I hate to use a lot of profanity tonight, but I'm just at the point, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the hearings. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of it. Because
I thought you were going to say sick of the bullshit. I was waiting for it. Come on.
but I was trying to hold myself back.
Deliver what you promised.
No. I don't. You don't have to curse or use profanities to make a point. That's a
very
weak
true.
side of
very true,
humanity.
Mike Love. Very
That's
true.
a
That's
weak
what a real man.
side of humanity when we do that.
Yes.
But what we have to do, if we truly believe that we're citizens of this country, is that we got to stop taking this BS from these guys, letting them sit up. They meet 2 or 3 times a week. You pay for all their bills. They got great health care. You're paying for a stipend for a place for them to live in DC. You know, they're going to walk away with a pension. They're pimping us. They are pimping us in a very disrespectful manner. And it's got to stop. And I don't know, and I don't even know how we can stop it. Back to you, Chris.
Dr. Ron, your thoughts?
Well, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I think they're important to have, and I think it's important for step-by-step details on what they're doing. See, when the federal government goes after somebody, they don't go after them, all willy-nilly. They meticulously do investigations, and they know that they got you when they pull the trigger on what they're doing. And not only going after Trump, but everybody that's associated and involved. So there are going to be some people that are going to face charges and have to deal with this long term. Okay. Everybody did not get immunity, that was trying to get immunity, or they were looking for deals or whatever. So there was a group of names of representatives today that was given that are going to have to deal with why were they seeking pardons if they did not do something wrong. Okay. So those are some of the things that they brought out. The fact that the system is broken and needs to be fixed, yes, I totally agree with Mike on that. But the system has been broken since its inception. And one of the things that you cannot, as a black person in this country, think that by any means that this system was put together for us, because they said it up front. You ain't included in this process. Okay. The Indians were not included in this process. And anybody else that was brought to this country, to serve the Europeans, were not part of the constitutional process. So the fact that we've got a group of criminals, as Lee would call them, they're all criminals, that are on the hot seat right now, that's exactly where they need to be. And the fact that during prime time, they are exposing all that they have uncovered up to this point. There is a population of people that need to see these things, mainly those 6 million folks that voted for Donald Trump, believing the lie, running around talking about it's a stolen election. They need to see this, how they were duped, how they were, they were put into a situation. Welcome to the show, Professor.
Professor.
Good evening, my brothers.
Yes. They were put into a situation where they believed every word that, Trump told them about the political system. And to the point where, thousands of them, tried to go down to Washington, D.C. and overturn what the process was based off of what they were led to believe. Now, they need to see this. Now, I heard some information earlier today. I didn't get a chance to fact check it, but it sounded interesting when I heard it, that we all know that when these hearings started the very first day, that the Fox News network did not carry it. But then I heard every hearing after that, because Fox News had slipped off in the ratings so much, that they started carrying it. So like I said, I didn't get a chance to fact check that.
Is that why everybody took it live today in the 5 o'clock hour? I was like, every channel I flipped to except for the ABC station, everybody was carrying it live. I'm like, why is everybody going wall to wall with this thing?
Well, it's the headline of the day. Okay. So, some people want to really know what the hell happened, and like I said, after the first day, after Fox realized that people were not watching them like they thought they would, there were some of their viewers watching what was going on with this hearing. They decided to carry it so that they can be in the mix. Now, they also got a chance to do their rebuttal on the other side of it as well. But if you don't carry it, then, then what you're saying is secondhand. But if you're there carrying it, then you can try and fight back with some of the things that people are saying. But this thing is going to be long term. It's not a quick fix. When the federal government decides to do an investigation, they're going to be very detailed, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're doing what they are known to do.
Because they ain't got nothing better to do.
Well, it's valuable information. Okay. Yes, it is. I mean, you may not find that this is valuable, but there are other people that do.
And maybe,
and you're entitled to not pay attention. You can turn on Mickey Mouse cartoons if you want to. If
Good
that's
idea.
if that's what you want to do. But there are people that are hanging on every interview. Case in point, they had a group of black ladies, a mother and daughter, that gave testimony to this committee that went under attack because Trump called their name. And the
Oh, you
mother,
talking about the black lady from Georgia?
yes,
The poll worker. Yeah.
yes, the poll worker and her mother.
Mhm.
And they called her name. Trump called her name, and they got death threats. The woman got sick. She lost her business. I mean, it was tragic how everybody turned on those. And somebody had nerve enough to come forward and say, hey, back in the old days, you wouldn't even have allowed to be able to be in a polling place, let alone vote or work a polling place. So, I mean, they came out with all manner of attacks against these two ladies that were just exercising their civic duty. Okay. They wanted to participate in the process and had been doing so for a very long time. Now, I had not heard about these two ladies, prior to this Senate hearing. Okay. So to know about them, I think is something that there's a lot of people that need to understand the attacks and the viciousness that came out of what took place behind this election. Okay. So it's unfortunate that it was a major conspiracy, and that's what we're talking about here, major conspiracy. That the lead conspirator was, Trump, and his desire and his thirst for power to not want to give up that seat. And that's exactly what he did. He didn't care who he stepped on, who he hurt along the way. And there are many people that do want to hear about it. And I'm one of them. Like I say, I'm on the opposite ends of the spectrum. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about some of those other victims that have been involved in this major catastrophe and miscarriage of justice. Go ahead, Chris.
So I'm going to throw it to Buck because early in the conversation, Mike had expressed the fact that the corruption of the government, we're absolutely correct, that it's kind of a waste of time and why are we going through this and you could avoid yourself from it. So Buck had agreed with that. So why do you agree in your theory that it's a waste of time and, we shouldn't be watching it?
Okay, and it might just be my personal view,
cool.
But every time I see it, I tune away because I know the way this government works, especially when it comes to old Orange. It ain't not gonna happen to him. Did you ever see that Saturday Night Live skit where they talked about all the horrendous things that he did, and Keenan would always say, "But ain't nothing gonna happen." After every single thing, ain't nothing gonna happen. And what happens with Trump every single time? Nothing. It's a complete waste of time. And you know what gets on my nerves is the media. The media covers all this just because they ain't got nothing else to do. I would rather watch the freaking Kardashians than watch this. And I can't stand the Kardashians. They bore the crap out of me.
That's horrible.
This, I mean, it's like a reality show, a long, boring, drawn-out reality show where we already know the end. Ain't not gonna happen.
Let me say this, and I not to interrupt what you're saying.
Oh, I was done, bro.
Okay, Chris, I mean, or Ron, whoever said it. I'm not saying that it doesn't need to be done. What I'm saying is action needs to be taken. If you're not serious about taking the action and we're just going through it just because we think the American people, see, there's always an end game in the political process. There is never a reason why a politician does something unless there's an end game. Okay? It has nothing to do with doing something for the American people. The process does not call for it. It doesn't. It's a process that says I'm going to grandstand and let my constituency know that I am not going to put up with this, but I actually don't have enough single power myself to crash anything.
It's a shit show. Is that the right word? Shit show? I think that's what they call it.
In its own definition, for the most part, I would say yes. I agree with Ron. Ron is absolutely correct. It's needed. So I don't want it to be said that I'm not saying it's not needed. But what needs to happen is the question that I want to ask the politicians that are there, that are asking the questions, that want to go after, whether it's Donald Trump or any of the conspirators that are there, how serious are you? Are you serious enough to put your own career on the line?
Hell
because
no.
if you're not, it's not going to happen.
Shit show.
That's what I'm asking for, Ron. I'm asking if we're going to take this kind of time out of our lives to be sitting around listening to testimony, and the end result is it's going to get swept under the rug, what was the purpose? You got to break camp. And that's what the hard part about it is. This is almost like being in the mafia or being in a mob situation. What happens when you break camp? You're subject to be killed. This is how the story goes. We watch The Untouchables. We watch real life stories. We've watched everything. You break camp and your ass is mine. So what I want to see in this situation, if you're going to break camp, give it all you got. Give up your political career if you have to. Take the hit. Whatever needs to happen, you got to do it. Don't just be fronting. Don't sit here and try to tell me you represent the party that I vote in and you're going to do something when it doesn't happen. There is no difference politically outside of the planks and the platforms that they represent. There is no difference in their politics. Step one, I want to run for office. Step two, I want to win. Step three, I want to be successful. It doesn't matter if you're Republican, independent, or
Step four, I want to get paid.
And well, that comes with it.
Right.
You can't have the first three without getting paid. That comes with the process. That's the payoff.
Look at Professor.
So if we're going to spend all this time, Professor, to sit here and gain attention on national TV networks to tell everything we know, to spill it, what's the results going to be?
Hey, you know what I just thought about, Mike? What if that's the whole point, is so they can just have more TV time?
Of course, it goes. You said that. Some of it is grandstanding.
But
see,
maybe that's the whole point.
I'm kind of playing both ends against the middle because I'm saying, yeah, you're making some valid points, but Ron is absolutely correct. I'm not in disagreement with anything he says, and he don't have to agree with me. I don't give a SHIT. What I'm saying in this situation is this grandstanding has got to stop. Stop grandstanding to have a political position.
Okay.
If you're going to lose your position by going against Trump or saying that this was wrong, stick with it. And go get you a regular job. Drive Uber and Lyft like I do. If you ain't got nothing else to do. That's what, Ron, that's my point. That's what they not willing to do. But everything else, you called it, but babe, you called it.
Well, one of the platforms that everybody has been standing on that is on that committee, and they started this whole thing. Started off with professing that we all took an oath to the Constitution of the United States, to uphold the Constitution of the United States above all other personal ambition. And this whole Senate hearing has been spotlighting people that honored their oath and did not go with the plan that Trump tried to fabricate and make a reality that was not a reality. So the fact that these people are willing to testify publicly, many of these people at this point in time are standing on the right side of the Constitution, which is that, hey, we see where all of the attacks against our United States of America and the document that literally holds us all together, this is what we're fighting to make sure that this doesn't ever happen again. Now, the one thing about the United States and the federal government and its justice system is not a fast moving operation. This thing takes time to unfold and develop. And just like Chris said in the very beginning, they were conducting raids today. So the Department of Justice have accumulated information that led them to conduct raids. They're still pushing the envelope to round up as many people that were involved in this atrocity as possible. Now, all we got to do is sit back and watch and see what happens in the end. We don't have to prejudge it. We don't have to say it's a waste of time and ain't nothing gonna happen. All we got to do is wait and see. We all would like to see, Trump wind up with a noose around his neck. Now,
Hey, I never said that. Go to jail, one thing. Die, no, Ron. Come on.
Well, when I say noose around your neck, I'm talking.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, that he's going to wind up in a situation where he can't run and he can't get out from underneath, the responsibilities of what his actions are. Okay. Because if it was any one of us on the show that was responsible for a major conspiracy like that, the noose would be around our neck and it ain't coming off. Okay. So treat him like you would treat anybody else that would violate, the laws of the land. Okay.
We know.
Let me take this time to bring in Professor, and his facial expressions usually says a lot before you ever say anything. So,
Professor, like, nah.
Have you calmed down, Professor? You calmed down yet?
I don't want
I'm good.
I agree with everything on the panel. Everything is cool.
I'm gonna start using that
Ron
too.
said
Somebody
it-
come to me,
Ron said it
hey,
all.
I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to say nothing. I'm gonna start using that. I'm
good.
gonna steal that one.
But
That's all right.
I will say this though.
There
Please
you
do.
go.
I will say this though.
Uh-oh.
We need like a Gil Scott Heron. We need a Gil Scott Heron to really break this down. It reminds me of the song he made in the early 70s.
The revolution will not be televised. Is that the one? Is that the one?
And that's the common one. That's the one that everybody knows.
Right.
We beg your pardon, but the pardon you gave was not yours to give. For pardon our analysis. Pardon our analysis. And I think I just might go to YouTube and listen to that because that's when we were talking about sometimes we act like whatever that president was, like he was the first conspirator.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us forget about Richard M. I mean, he tried to sell the country too.
Yep.
We're talking about Nixon here, right?
Yes, Richard M. Nixon.
Okay.
So
Just checking.
This is
For
not
the under 40 crowd,
this is okay, yeah. I can't. Only thing I can do is just deal with the facts of life that I saw, and unfortunately, people under 40 they may not have saw that, so I can't. I'm sorry y'all wasn't living in 72, but that's history.
Was
and
that when it was 72?
That's history. That's when things 50 years ago. That's when that's why we record history, because a lot of times, a lot of times, I have to go back to those old sayings. There's nothing new under the sun. I mean, the dude is crooked. And so, Dick was crooked, and so he resigned. So, his game, he went on and he signed it on out. But I still think he got his money or something. But he still got a little something for doing a little something. So, but as far as this other stuff, it's okay. Whatever y'all want to do it, and let's get it over with. Okay, cause let's get it over with. Whatever you all decide, cause we got other things to deal with. See, when you're in power, that's how things go, man. We can sit on the sideline, we can hoop and holler and cry and say everything. We got to get that power, and then I guess we can do the same thing. I guess I don't know, but
and then we can move on.
Yeah, I mean,
and speaking of moving on, we'll do just that. So let us continue as we segue into Dr. Ron's topic that deals with a topic that continues his classroom when it comes to critical race theory. Dr. Ron, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I always like to keep a topic, close to that one, because it's so interesting that there are so many things in the, arena of critical race theory. And I'm going to start out, I'm going to post a picture. Give me a second, then I'm going to post a picture here for you guys. As always, I got some, I bring pictures to the fight, from this computer. Don't show this again. Upload file. Okay, give me a second. It's coming up. I usually have them preloaded, but I didn't get this one preloaded this time.
Take your time.
I am. Don't worry. I can't get it up.
Hey, what we tell you
last
about
time you said that?
Just on that list of things you don't be saying
This
to
is
me.
a family show.
Right, yeah, I know.
Hey, slow down, partner.
Yeah.
Slow your roll.
Yeah, it didn't pop up. That's not good.
Okay, there you go again.
What was the last time you said that?
There it is. There it is. I found it.
It's soft.
I found it.
Oh,
Can't
holy
find the
smokes,
hole.
it is.
Yeah, there you go. All right, there you go. Thank you, Chris, for bringing this up.
You're welcome.
So, yes, yeah. I needed a little help. But,
oh
that's
man,
what-
Ron, I thought it was one of them good pitches, man.
Yeah, no. No Viagra required this time.
Yeah, I was gonna send one of the pictures he had sent me over. I didn't know if that was one he was referencing. Yeah.
All right, so I was, searching the internet, and I ran across this, and I thought it was kind of interesting. There was a class in New Jersey, a class of 5th graders. Now, this is a couple of years old, and the class project was, we need the students to create posters for a slave auction. Now, a couple of times we had talked about this, how, Caucasians, Europeans, have a certain mentality on how they want to treat us and how they, move towards us and, look at us in different ways. But for a 5th grade, now listen to what I'm saying, 5th grade class project. Okay. So now this was a poster that a 5th grade put together for a slave auction. It says, the auction is going to be on Wednesday at 12 o'clock in the town square, likely and valuable, Anne, age 12 years, a fine house girl. Edwin, age 24 years, a great hunter. Jane, age 32 years, a superior nurse. Sam, age 18 years, a field hand. Now, this is something that a fifth grader, now that's what's on the small fine print right there. Posters for slave auctions created by fifth graders at a New Jersey elementary school have outraged parents after the posters were hung on the school's walls. Not only did they make them as a class project, they turned around and then hung them up to be proud about it. Okay. You can take it down, Chris. I got another one I gotta go find right quick. Let me see, can I go find it and bring it back up? But now I want to give you an opportunity to see a real slave poster. I got it up now, Chris. You can bring it up. Now, this was a slave poster that was authentic from January 10th, 1855. So, do you see the similarities of the mentality of people still trying to keep a legacy of slavery still alive in the minds and the hearts of their young people?
What's a wench?
A wench is a woman. Okay. All right. So just like a buck is a dude, okay, or a male. Okay. So this was a real replica of a slave poster. Okay. So take it down, Chris. I'm gonna bring another one up because I got one more to emphasize my point here. Let's see. This one right here. Okay. Now this one I thought was really, really interesting. You can bring it up, Chris. This was a slave poster. Not only were they selling slaves, but they was also selling rice, grain, books, needles, pens, ribbons, all at the same square. So not only did they consider slave auctions, now this one was in May of 1829, such a normal part of life that they sold everything else along with it at the beginning of when slavery was considered to be normal. So now go ahead, Chris, take it down. With that being said,
yes, Mom.
These no, bro. I'm trying to not show the wrong thing off my computer. You know how my computer act up.
But it was depressing. I was glad you took it down.
Oh yeah. Don't let Dr. Ron's computer make no mistake.
Because some of his homework projects.
We'll have to shut down the show.
We have to. The show has been interrupted because
because Buck will go wild.
But the point that I'm making is these are some of the things that modern day legislators are objecting to teaching and talking about critical race theory. Now, critical race theory talks about these things that happen to people of color. And that would be us. Our ancestors suffered these atrocities, being sold, being treated like property, and many Europeans benefited from that. And now, current day, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to bring it up. They don't want to make it part of modern day understanding because they feel like, oh, just get over it. Let's not talk about it. Let's not relive something that I wasn't here when that happened. But guess what? It still happened. And there are many ancestors whose blood, which I say all the time, cries out from the grave for us never to forget and never to not talk about what happened to them so that we are not destined to repeat these atrocities over and over again. The same thing that I said about the Jewish Holocaust, they won't never let you forget it. They ain't talking about having no picnics and no barbecues because they ain't killing Jews no more. Hello? Okay? They won't let you forget the tragedy that happened to their ancestors. Okay? So don't let them lull you to sleep and make you think that, oh, it's okay. It happened. We're still here. We're okay. I ran across one more flyer that I'm going to put up. And this is right down Professor's alley right here.
Uh-oh. Let me check this out now.
Yeah. I say Black Lives Matter because all don't cover Black when they say all men are created equal. Okay. First of all. Second of all, I say Black Lives Matter because all don't cover Black when they said with liberty and justice for all. I say Black Lives Matter because they're still struggling with the definition of all. That's why I say this is coming right down Professor's alley here, because a lot of people will say that, oh yeah, all lives matter, but they don't include us when they say all. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to throw it out and let these guys, be disgusted over my commentary.
Well, one of the things, that's why we don't want this critical race theory in the hands of the wrong people, and that's what you really have to be concerned with. You can't take something like this and put it out there, and especially have educators who may not even be from a generation that understands racism and prejudice because they've never experienced it. They've only heard people talking about it. There will never be a connection to the community as of today, 2022, unless you've lived in the 50s or the 60s, just to say, for people we're talking about here, because anybody mainly from the 30s and 40s probably aren't even living now or able to communicate at some level to get people to understand what that was really like. And I don't really want to know because I don't believe that I was built for that. That when you think about slavery, when you go back even into the 1800s, I mean, it just looks like something that was impossible to deal with. When we have no way to understand what it's like to have another being having total control over your life, where you live, what you eat, who you marry, where you go.
Except when you're kids.
Say that again.
When you're kids, you do. I mean, if you're a teenager, you
Well,
don't have any control of your life.
I mean, when you're raising someone and teaching them, that's different because you're implementing responsibility. But I'm talking about when somebody takes away your livelihood, when you get beat up for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Those are the things that are the hypocrisies that are you can't imagine it. I mean, I can't. Like I said, I was born in 1957. So by the time I realized, let's say by the 70s, what racism was and prejudice, it wasn't full blown at my level. But my dad, who hoboed on a train, my dad wanted to leave his family because his dad was a sharecropper. And so they raised their own vegetables and fruit and everything else that they had to live off of. and he would make my dad, he pulled him out of school in the 6th or either the 8th grade. I don't remember the story. I heard it 50,000 times, and made him sit in the center of town on a wagon to sell their vegetables and fruit. So one day he couldn't take it anymore. I can't imagine hoboing on a train. We see hobos all the time at TV series and that kind of stuff, right? To hobo? I mean, that's unimaginable to me.
Well, not anymore so much.
Well, but I'm saying just the thought of it, that you would have to do that. And how did you know where the train was going to go, that he left Columbus, Mississippi and ended up in St. Louis, Missouri? How did you know that train went there? You didn't have social media. You definitely couldn't Google it. So the oppression is something that is just out of sorts. How do you live with it? How do you deal with that? What's going on in your life? You know, when they talk about freedom, we don't really know the definition to freedom, because the only way that you would really know the definition to freedom is if someone took your freedom away. Think about that. That's the only way you would truly know the definition of freedom, if someone took your freedom away and said you couldn't ride on the front of this bus. They said you couldn't be in this town. They said you couldn't have this job. It's unimaginable. Chris?
The thing about when you talk about race, the great thing about having family is that they'll tell you where you come from, the ones that speak to you, the ones that you learn from, the ones that you sit back and just learn from the feet of the masters and the people who have walked the path that you're about to walk as you get older. Listening to everybody, I recall the conversation I had with my maternal grandfather. We were playing checkers. He never let me win, by the way. So he said, look, you got to earn this, Doc. So I never beat him, but he made it very clear that he got to step your game up. That's what I loved about him. So while we were playing checkers, he gave me the time where he worked construction, and he unfortunately fell into a ditch. And the white so-called co-workers, not only did they not help him, they urinated into the ditch he was in. And he eventually got out.
There's nothing he could do about it.
Thank you. He eventually got out, and I could look at his face, and he was reliving the whole experience. He was getting pissed and upset, and rightfully so. But what he imparted to me was, just because I hate white people, I don't want you to hate white people. Because he could have easily said, look, they're all evil, they're all, part of the devil and everything else. But the fact that he separated it, and because I was his grandson, knowing that certain situation would not change, but if you're not going to like a person, make it about what their character is and their content, and if the skin tone happens to be, hell, you live in the black community, you can hate somebody that's black, look just like you. But when you break it down to the fact that you know who you are race-wise and your background and your heritage, it does give you a navigational point. And to not have it, you're just lost. You're just, wandering around. That's why I call The Walking Dead. When you're out here, don't know who the hell you are, where you came from. And it's funny because, I do watch programs like that. I kind of parallel to real life, how certain people are just dead inside. Some to no fault of their own, but some just walk around here and don't even know. They're going through the motions of what it means to be alive and not having the content of who they are. And that was very disturbing, to say the very least. So when I hear about race and how to break it down and for it to be understood, and the one thing we do miss is that it's the human race. That should be first and foremost. Nothing wrong being race pride. Just because you embrace your race or who you are, you're pro with that, does not mean you're anti anybody else. You just love your race so much. And we have to so-called get back to that, or again, teach our future children, our relatives, and some friends will listen along about being in the human race. There was a movie out years ago called Little Big Man, and Dustin Hoffman played the role. It's based on a real experience of a Native American a white man who grew up in both worlds of the Native American world and the white world set in the 17, 1800s. And he would go back and forth between lands. And it was interesting that his indigenous grandfather that he lived with from time to time called everybody human beings. He didn't call them by white or black. And it's documented in the book and in the movie. So if we try to go back to that, once again, it's a case-by-case basis. It's the ties that bind. But a lot of us don't want to understand that we're more alike than we are not alike. Now, do we have the conversation, sit down on the table and try to find out sometimes? Sometimes we don't. Some people like to live in lies because that's easy. To be smart or to have thought process or to be intelligent requires discipline. And if anybody can tell you anything, you'll fall for it all the time. Question authority. Question what people say to you. Not to be disrespectful, but to be mindset of what you're about to hear and your surroundings around you.
Yeah. Can I bring up a point about a movie since you brought up a point about a movie? Y'all remember the movie Rosewood?
Yes.
At the end of that movie, Rosewood was a massacre that took place in Florida. And white folks just destroyed every living creature that they ran across. They shot and killed them dead, just like they did in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it was around early 1900s. I'm going to say during that time, it was a lot of massacres that took place over black towns where blacks were living, prospering, doing their own thing, not trying to, be integrated into white community because they weren't accepted. And at the end of that movie, I remember they interviewed a 100-year-old woman that was a child when Rosewood took place. And she said in that interview that there was a white man that helped them to escape as children to get out of there. Otherwise, they would have been killed. And her analogy at the end of her interview was that there are some good white people in the world. Now this is a woman that's 100 years old that have seen atrocities in her life that stem from the 1900s, all coming forward. Now, I was born in '57, just like Mike was, but I was more exposed to racial incidents. The white folks attacked us more often, in Chicago, in certain parts of Chicago. I had to deal with that on a regular basis. And, I can honestly say, what they say, true confessions. I didn't like white people till I was almost 30 years old because I used to have to fight them. I used to have to defend because I was a big dude. Always have.
Was?
Let me finish, Buck. Always have been a big dude. So, as a big person, my responsibility was to try to defend all of my brothers and sisters that were not able to defend themselves. Okay. So, bullying ain't nothing new. But if I found out about it, somebody was going to pay the cost. Okay. I can remember being in grammar school, third grade, and getting the snot beat out of me because some white teenage children, boys, caught me by myself and they just beat me till the snot came out. See, that was something that Reggie, Mike might remember when you got a beating when you got the snot beat out you.
That was kind of horrific,
It ain't like today where they shoot you, kill you, stab you. What they stab you back then. But
you actually would have rather had that happen.
Look, when you got the snot beat out you, boy, you was in a fight. Okay. So, I'm saying all that to say that I have reasons to be woke, as we talk about woke in the context of understanding where we at, what we had to put up with. I've been woke a long time. I know they didn't like me. I know I didn't like them either. I heard somebody preach a sermon one time, and it was interesting. And I'm gonna share a little bits of it. Um, Farrakhan serves a purpose, and he's always served a purpose. Farrakhan's message would always be being aware on what the white devil is capable of doing to us. Now, he didn't call every white person a devil, but there were white devils that existed in white skin. Okay. And when he would speak, a lot of the white folks would get offended and get upset because he was trying to bring awareness to folks. Look, don't fall for the rope-a-dope. Okay. But he served a purpose, and he's always served a purpose in his message. Some people wouldn't listen to him because they say he preaches hate, but he's not preaching hate. He's preaching, wake up, be aware, don't fall for the rope-a-dope. Okay. So people that don't want you to understand will say, shy away from that. Oh no, that's a bad message. Don't listen to that. We're gonna ban him off of Facebook, because of his message and how he says things. And well, how he says it is how he says it. But it's a pertinent message that needs to be brought forth. So I just wanted to throw that back out there. Back to you, Chris.
And thank you as always for your continuing teaching of critical race theory in some way, shape, or form. As Dr. Ron said, I do it to piss people off.
I do.
And that was a direct quote. Yeah, that's why he does it. So we're going to, of course, segue to the next topic. Bringing us to it is Mr. Buck Weezy. I like his topic because, again, like anything else, it's anything that the brothers do here, it makes you think. Buck, go right ahead.
Yeah, I was filling in for the afternoon person on my station that I work at this week, and she, Moni Love, you might remember her. She's an old school rapper or whatever.
Right.
She does afternoons at our station. She's great. Anyway, so a lady calls up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, she does. Great.
Wait,
She's
hold,
just a
wait a
great
minute.
person.
Wait. Stop for a second, and I apologize for interrupting. Oh, that's right. He does mornings. I was thinking Frank. You threw me off with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
no,
Moni Love does
Moni in the middle,
and Frank and Nina, they do the morning show.
Right. So a lady calls up and says, "I'm on my way from work, and I'm heading from wherever she was, going to Sandy Springs or whatever. It was a long drive, and it was a day where it was 101 degrees. So I hope you got your AC on." She said, "Oh, my AC needs Freon, and I didn't get a chance to go to the place yesterday." I said, "Poor baby." That little sound effect come on with the lady screaming, "Ah!" It was funny. But then I said, "Do you know, forget going to the place to get your AC fixed. Go to Walmart." I just told her my personal experience. I went to Walmart last year. Mine was low too. I went to Walmart, bought a can of Freon, popped the hood. There's a tube that comes out of the back of the engine. All you got to do is just attach it to that tube. 10 minutes. I said, literally a 10-year-old could do it. She's like, "Thanks for the information." I had been putting it off for the longest time because when I finally did get around to going to one of those AC repair places, and it was, of course, it had just started getting hot. That was a lot. You had to wait. You had to leave your car there, and they would get around to it sometime throughout the day, maybe the next day. You had to leave it there all day for something that takes 10 minutes. And then charge you $200 because they flush the whole system out. check for leaks. All
I
this
was going
other
to say
BS.
they have to be doing more than what you just did. Pull up the tube and put the stuff
right.
in.
Well, they're doing all this stuff that they, whatever they say they do, whatever. But the reality is, if you just need Freon, just put some damn Freon in it. And she was like, "Oh, thank you so much for the information." Of course, I had to cut a lot of that out, because of time. It had to be 40 seconds or less. I think that's what it was, 40 seconds. Anyway, point being, I felt good about helping her out. Whether she did it or not, she was probably about 60. So I said, if you have some kids, you have a 35-year-old. Since she had a 35-year-old son, I said, let him do it. But literally, it takes 10 minutes. But that's not what I really wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about, because it kind of leads me into the whole car thing, is that today I went and I filled up. I was on E. I mean, not just E, the light came on. And it came on yesterday when I was on my way home from my shift. And today I was like, I wanted to go get some gym. And I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't even get any gym because I've got no gas in the car. My light's on. Anyway, long story even longer, I went to Gas Buddy, found a place. It was about 4 miles away that had gas at $4.39 a gallon. Who would have ever thought that was a bargain, right? So anyway, I'm on my way. I went to get it. Filled it up. It was $81 to fill my tank up. $81. Which made me think about this whole gas tax holiday that they've been talking about. Biden said he's going to ask Congress to do, right? Now, the Georgia governor, Brain Kemp, did the exact same thing. He eliminated the gas tax temporarily for Georgia's gas tax. So we got the lowest gas prices in the country right now. But really only by a few cents. I mean, the 445 or whatever I just said I paid, and the average is about $5, so it's 15 cents difference
Per
but
gallon.
here's the thing, per gallon, right? Well, so the difference, if the savings were passed on directly to the consumers, would be about the same for the federal tax. It would be about 15, 16 cents or so. I've read an article, though. The reason why the Republicans are fighting it so bad, obviously because the money is needed for the infrastructure, because that's where all that money goes to fix the roads. But really, more than anything else, they know the oil companies ain't going to give that to the consumers. They're going to keep that money down. And I was like, damn. And so we have the lowest here in Georgia, lowest prices on gas per gallon in Georgia. But it's only by a couple cents, but it was already fairly low compared to the national average anyway. And we only got about half of what the government decided not to take. What happened to the other half? You can guess. The oil companies kept half of it. So with the federal government, they ain't gonna keep. They are not going to pass all that savings on to the consumers.
But why did gas go up
greedy.
anyway?
Because of a lot of different reasons.
Well, was it because of the Ukraine-Russia situation?
That was one of the excuses, but the reality was these oil companies are trying to make up for money that they lost during the recession, during COVID. So they cut a lot of the supply because they were like, well, remember all those? I don't know if you remember 2 years ago, all those gas stations that were full of gas and wasn't nobody buying them because nobody was driving. So they were sitting there not making any money, and they couldn't ship any more oil out or any gas out because the gas stations were full and nobody was buying them. So they lost billions or millions. I don't know how much they lost, but they lost quite a bit of money during the recession. So now is their time to make that up. They had cut production, and so now the demand is high and the supply is still the same. So you know what happens? Price goes up. So if the price is up, they're making money hand over. They're making record profits. Record. You think they're going to pass any savings on to the American people? Hell to the no. And I think the Republicans know that. That's why they're like, come on now. You know they ain't going to pass it on. So why are you even thinking about that, Joe? And even I can't remember who it was. Maybe it was Obama that said it back in 2008 when we had another gas price hike. It's like, gas tax holiday, as they call it, would just be a gimmick. And that's really what it is. It's a gimmick. And I hate that Joe Biden has to resort to gimmicks to try to save his image, because he knows it's not going to get passed on, but he could say, oh yeah, I did something about it. That's all.
I'm not going to repeat what I said earlier, but you just brought in another case of what I was saying earlier about
What?
Buck. They're all on the same team. One takes a hit for the other one. One decided to be, one party says, okay, we'll be the bad guys, you be the good guys. But the end result is they both know what's going to happen.
Nothing.
Excuse me. And it's not going to be something that's going to be the best for the American people.
No.
The American people currently are being held hostage by our government because these people who want to run for office, who want to be in the political scheme of things, can't do anything to, let me say this. The job doesn't call for fair and honesty.
What's that?
Right.
Never heard of that.
That's my whole point. If you're not prepared to pull a gun out and put to somebody's head and say, I know I got a gun to your head, it just doesn't have any bullets in it, but I just need you to be scared anyway.
To lie, cheat, and steal, in other words.
Yeah, I just need you, because if you panic, it will get people to do stupid shit. And that's what they do. The panic is there to get people. See, you got to take all the weight off of yourself. That's the whole job of being a politician. You shaking it off. You shake shit off. You already know what the outcome is going to be. You already know what the results are going to be. But you have to shake it off. And that shaking off makes someone go, well, he's really trying to do something. I like that guy right there.
Joe
he's
Biden.
Really got, that's who should be our president. Sucker.
Joe Biden. I feel, and sometimes I feel bad for him because like he's in a no-win situation. But after this,
but he's
I'm
been
just
in
like,
it.
really?
He's been in it for 50 years.
Yeah, I'm just like,
It's a job. It's a job. Why would you even want that job?
yeah.
I wouldn't, if I was him, I wouldn't be running for president at 70 years old, but you're doing it for the American people.
Almost 80 now, bro.
Right.
And
That's what I'm saying. You're in your 70s.
I'm gonna go for a second term. Sure you are. Nigga, shut up.
You're doing it for the American people. Because if he didn't do it, Ron wouldn't be able to celebrate Juneteenth. Chris wouldn't be able to.
Really, Ron? Is that what you celebrating?
I mean, seriously. They make excuses. It's a consistency of excuses. And it's almost like we're being held hostage.
And finger pointing. Don't forget the finger pointing, Nessa. Damn right.
Chris?
I don't know why I just got a southern accent all of a sudden. Damn right.
Damn right.
Anyway, that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to say. It's just like, it's a gimmick, and it's just really sad that he's got to resort to this.
At least you understand it's a gimmick. That's my whole point.
Right. And I'm just like, and everybody's like, oh, we should do, oh, yeah, give us some money back. Oh, you hear about the gas, the rebate cars they're talking about? It's like, Joe, come on, shut up with this. Grandpa? That's all I wanted.
It's not about the age. That's what I want you to get to. I want you to understand.
That's true. It's not.
It's the process.
I just like calling him Grandpa.
The age has nothing to do with it.
I just like calling him Grandpa.
Yeah, it's the process.
So.
Why are you doing this? That's what I was saying when Ron did his thing. I'm like, why? And nobody can answer that question.
Listen, every time there's something on Joe Biden. Now, when gas prices come up, I do pay attention because that affects me. But everything else, all these hearings and all this other BS, I fast forward, bro. I never watch anything live, so I'm always fast forwarding through the news, and I go right on past it because when something actually happens, when there's a final verdict, and they say, okay, Donald Trump is going to jail. I'm like, yes, I'll watch then. But in the meantime, forget all that. I got other things to do, other things to watch that's entertaining. Not even the Kardashians, but I would rather watch the stupid Kardashians rather than that bullshit. Sorry.
Can I throw a question out there?
Sure.
We realize that the American system is broken, but where else in the world would you rather be?
Canada. Canada, damn. Oh, Canada in a minute.
Okay. Now, Canada seems to address their issues head on, and just like they did,
Damn right.
about a month or so ago, when they banned assault weapons instantly based off of the mistakes that the United States has allowed to happen, where people can go and buy 2 assault weapons, one day apart from each other because they turned 18. And they fixed that problem.
By the way, I've dated several women from Canada, and I've been there many times, and it's a place that if you really look at it, would be a great place to live.
Okay. So Canada being the place that you admire the most, why are you not there?
Because my life is here. I got a house here.
But so the American way suits you for a purpose then?
For now.
Okay. All right.
Did that answer your question, sir?
Yeah, you did.
Thank you.
But, I'm just, because I understand that we got issues, but, people are trying to get here, not Canada. People are trying to.
Well, because we're closer.
No,
we're closer.
People,
Canada's got a lot of immigration, just like the United States got. A lot of people try to go to Canada. I'm not going to say just as many, but Canada's one of those places where a lot of people are trying to get to too. It's not just America. It's not just the United States.
But when you interview people from other places, they're not talking about the Canadian dream. They're talking about the American dream
here because we're here. That's what gets covered on the media here. But you talk to anybody from Canada,
but even when you talk to people in other countries, before they even get a chance to come anywhere to the Americas, whether it's United States or Canada, or get to Mexico to try and get into the United States, they want to try and come here for the American dream. Okay, they realize that where they're coming from has more atrocities than what we have here in the United States for them to be able to profit and benefit from.
Well, then how are people processing, you think, all these school shootings and all the violence that go on in America? How are they processing
I'm not saying that we don't have issues. I'm just saying people that are trying to get here, they want to be here. They want to come from whatever Cuba, what other, I've seen people, escape from Russia and they want to be here, our Eastern Bloc countries in Europe. They would rather be here than in Russia. They would rather be here than some of the countries that have it even worse, is what my point is. So yes, we live here, we grew up here. We may not have the same value of America as somebody who's trying to get here to America, but America represents a value to somebody like from Cuba, or and I'm just naming a few places where people have escaped from their form of government, their dictatorships, their atrocities. There were people when they were trying to leave Afghanistan, they were trying to ride the outside of the plane to get here. Okay,
that was great.
Yeah, we witnessed that. Okay, when America pulled out, they wanted to get on the outside of the plane. Give me that ride. I'm coming with y'all.
On
Okay.
that turbine on the engine.
And they just had a major earthquake over there, and they won't even ask for
Where is
American
this?
support in Afghanistan.
In Afghanistan.
Yeah, they just had I think it was yesterday or day before, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But the part that stuck out in my mind was the fact that they won't even ask America for help. America was prepared to send them supplies, because I think they said thousands of people. I don't know how many thousands, but thousands of people were killed in the earthquake. And anytime there's a natural disaster around the world, that's something everybody rallies around and sends support. Dogs, people to help find people that have been buried by the earthquake. And they refused to receive help from the United States. Refused. But the point that I'm making, like, if you think about Haiti, there are countries that have far worse atrocities than the United States. And I know you probably find that hard to believe because we live here and we see it up close and personal. But I'm sure where they're coming from, the atrocities are a lot worse. Can we do better? We probably can. But the system that we have right now to work with is the only one we got. So we got to work on it. We got to try and put elected officials in. Elected officials, vote. I don't know what y'all doing out there, but I'm voting. Elected officials in place that can do better. Like, we've been hearing about this debate down in your backyard, Buck, about Warnock and Herschel Walker. That's been in the national news quite a bit. But Herschel's starting to really look stupid now, because the truth about some of his background is really coming out. And they're Warnock will probably win because they're killing him, Herschel Walker. They done found 2-3 outside families that he didn't even claim. I mean, boy, politics is a monster.
Politics is a monster, man. That's what I'm saying.
Don't have skeletons in the closet when you're trying to run for public office.
Boy, he looked nervous last week. They was unloading some stuff on him.
Yeah. What about them
and
two
I don't want to
kids?
laugh at it, but he looked nervous.
Man, they hit him hard, man. They hit him hard. What about them two kids that you never claimed, Herschel?
Oh my God, he was looking straight crazy.
Oh man!
I was like,
and I was after he jumped on people who don't take care of their outside kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now if he wouldn't have said nothing, oh man, look, the Republican Party here in Illinois is wild and crazy. They got this one of the black dudes was running, Irving. He's running for governor on the Republican ticket. And they've been killing him with this one commercial. They said that his old lady was in the dispensary clowning, acting up, hit somebody. So she called her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was Irving, the mayor of Aurora. So when he got there, he squashed it. He said, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
Hey, real
Look
quick,
at that.
what's up, Lee?
Look. Speaking of hooligans, look who showed up, Lee.
Yeah. I'm in the house. Y'all start talking about Herschel Walker. I had to get me a piece of that.
Oh Lord.
Come on,
Listen,
Lee, break it down.
Herschel Walker not only has not acknowledged or just recently acknowledged, how many kids does he have?
I think he said outside kid. I don't know about his inside kid.
Okay,
Bill
no,
Black
I
said
mean
Herschel's a mess.
outside kids. But listen, more importantly, he's a liar.
Yeah.
He claimed to have been in law enforcement. That's a lie. Okay, he claimed he graduated in the top 1% of his class. He didn't even graduate.
Did not graduate. Yep.
Okay.
You mean he's a politician?
No, he's a lying SOB is what he is. And we don't
AKA
need no more
politician.
lying ass politicians like Donald Trump. We don't need no more of that.
Right.
and he has been endorsed by Trump. So birds of a feather flock together. So now
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired about stupidity in politics. No on Herschel Walker. Absolutely not. No, zero. Get the hell out of here. And what now wait a minute, didn't he used to play for Dallas?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
Wasn't
he?
Dallas? Herschel
I
Walker.
know he did. He was on Donald Trump's league. I don't know if he played for Dallas.
He played for the Cowboys, yes.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. How dare you be a Dallas Cowboy and then gonna come and align yourself with Donald Trump?
Oh man.
No. Hell no. Hell to the no, no, no. No. No on Herschel Walker. You hear me, Georgia?
Oh.
And it
man.
sounds like a
Georgia
redneck.
actually had nothing to do with it. It was all political.
Mhm.
Nobody was asking for Herschel Walker. Nobody was going around. If we could find Herschel Walker, that would be no. That was all in the political process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I do.
And wait a minute.
Look at Professor.
Look, on top of that, I think the last couple of elections he voted out of Texas.
He may
Did he
have.
really?
Yeah, he voted out of Texas on the last couple of elections. They brought that up. I heard that. He said, "Hi." All of a sudden, he's a candidate to be in a Georgia election when he actually voted out of Texas. They brought that up too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
More interesting corruption.
Guys are exposed,
Lord have mercy.
Man.
Well, listen, folks and friends. For the past 2 days, I have been packing and moving out of our place here in
You don't even
Las
know where
Vegas.
you at. There you go.
Oh, you leaving Vegas?
Yeah. I mean, it's just too damn hot. Today it was 103 degrees. I'm done.
It was that in Georgia yesterday.
Well, it's always hot in Georgia.
What's the big
And
deal?
Well, why would you go to
Always.
California when everybody from California is coming to Texas?
Well, those are the ones that are selling these 5, 10, 15, $20 million houses and coming out there paying cash for properties in Texas and driving the price up because they can come in and overpay because they got $4 or $5 million profit off of selling their properties in California, and they'll come out there and pay double.
Yeah. And Lee's
Get
already
into
got a $15 million house, so what's the big
Yeah,
deal?
well, I guess so. You're
No. My second
And
wife,
a yacht.
My second wife got the $15 million house.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
Ooh.
What's that number, Lee? I need to call her.
How's she doing? How old is she?
I
she
can't
still
even
hot?
get back in the house. Good luck with that one.
Look, $15
Oh,
million.
my
It
God.
don't matter how old she is. Look, 15 million. She look real good to me. All them zeros. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So how
Yeah.
y'all guys doing? Everybody
Doing
good?
Doing good,
Doing
bro.
good.
Good.
Doing good, man.
What happens to Professor?
He's in there somewhere.
He in and out.
Yeah, he in there.
He's picking his nose. That's why he had to turn the
Yeah.
camera off.
Okay.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah.
What's up, Pro?
What's going on, Lee? Y'all know when y'all start talking about them characters. Them characters, man. They're
I'm gonna
characters,
start doing that,
you-
Professor. Thank you. Thanks for giving me the idea.
characters, man. It's a character, and it's like, I mean, the characters. Come on now, ain't no new characters. Herschel just happens to be the one this time, But there have been many characters that got the call. Yo, hey, listen here. I need you to do something for me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Would you do this? It's like making a call to tell them I need you to be a fool.
Right.
And we need an N-word to knock off Warnock. So you're the one.
No, you ain't gonna put me on now when you do that.
No. I'm not
No, he's making a statement. He's saying what they said to Herschel.
Right.
Oh,
Right,
absolutely.
exactly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Buck, when you're gonna help me to understand, because I'm slow. So you got it. You got
Yeah, that one went over
I'll
your
do
head.
that next time. Okay.
Yeah, you got it. You got to.
Yeah.
Because you got to call. Because I mean, do you really believe that? Do you really believe that somebody? I mean, it's possible, but I mean, to be really that stupid,
Well, think about it. But Professor, think about it. I'm sorry for interrupting. USFL, his relationship with Donald, the guy ain't thinking. He's like, look, I can get you out of all of this trouble. You get in here, you'll get this political position. They'll forget about your past. He's that stupid.
And how many times he got knocked on the head?
Yeah, well, I mean, he volunteered for, but sometimes it's just some people you just supposed to ignore, man. You just soon as
And he's one of them. That's a good one.
soon as as soon as
one.
the cat comes up, you already know. It's like bass Groucho Marx when they did the. You spin the wheel when you bet your life. So they got a wheel. The elites, they got in a wheel with a bunch of buffers, buffer people.
Yeah.
What's a buffer people? I don't understand.
Buffers
The
are
suckers.
blockers, right? They're blockers.
Yeah,
They're blockers.
these are the people who you can use for anything. They'll take a knife.
Yeah.
They'll take a knife for you.
Yeah, okay. and so they in the back room, hey, who we gonna get, man? Go on, spin the wheel. So they spin the wheel, and it's Herschel's turn. It's been falling on him a couple of times, so the call comes in, and they don't even say. They don't say. And it's look, and I believe this. Okay, I believe this. It's not, hey, Herschel, we need you to do this. It's, hey, N-word. or with the GA, It's a, hey, GG.
No, you know what? It might be that simple, but I think it's more. I look at it from a little different angle, Professor. I think that there are some people who think they are cool and have been accepted by some people.
Yeah.
I mean, but Lee, I can go along with that, but listen, you only gonna get so far. The buffer, that's what.
See, you're right. You can only get so far, but you better know when to turn that off, because when you go beyond where you really ought to be, then you played yourself. But see, there's some people think that some people's ice is colder than others.
Yeah.
Or sugar is sweeter than others. The water is deeper than others.
Okay,
So
that's
cool. Who falls into that category.
All right.
When you are not comfortable with yourself, when you're not comfortable with yourself and you want to be like somebody else.
Okay, so like I said, he's not the first one you got. You had Armstrong, Williams. You can go down the list of brothers that was on this wheel that they turned.
Leo Terrell.
Yeah. But wait a minute.
Leo 2.0.
Yeah. Oh
he
man.
Is a
what?
But y'all do remember that they bought Herschel Walker out during the Republican convention last time. And they gave him a whole featured spot. Remember that?
Oh man, do you know? Come on, man. Now wait a minute. Now let's check it out. Let's check all the game that has been attempted to be run on us, right? In a minute that when they were talking about bad police, right, or the bad police killing people, you had the one guy from Wisconsin. Man, I mean, he was saluting Blue. I don't even know this dude's name, but as soon as this dude came up, I just started cracking up because he was just absolutely stupid. But it's like paid informants. It's like paid political people or paid buffers. We just like that. We get caught up in a vice like that where you just have to do that because they need to have some distractions. So when they come up and they look, hey Reggie, you got to be a distraction this week. No, don't tell me we don't. It's your turn, Reg. You got to do it.
No. See, it's a little deeper than that. They'll come in and they need something. And so, oh, okay, no problem, Herschel. That's what you want? You need that? Okay, cool. Hey, hold on a second. Make that call. Herschel's gonna come down to see you. Go ahead and hook that up for him, okay?
Oh, absolutely,
So
man. I mean,
Herschel then gets what he wants. So he's just like these other politicians bought and paid for.
listen. Now
So when they need Herschel, they're gonna call on Herschel and say, "Hey, Herschel, you
come on,
know, we really need to get you out here, you know, because there are a lot of people that really like you and follow you, and
right, man,
we need that support, you
It
know."
sounds like pimping.
man.
Sound like pimping to me.
Come
Oh
on
yeah.
now. Come on now. When Al was really slick with his hair going back, he was come on, man. And then when they really needed, some mind blows, on both sides, they would call Jesse sometimes. So I mean, there's been many times when our people have been used against us or used and put in a situation to make us not say, well, they're not all bad. Well, look, Jesse's going along with them, and
I like that voice.
and it's like we used to call it back in the day, Oreo man. We come on, man.
Yeah.
We used
The
to
cookie.
call the brother, man, you cream filled. You black nut, you Oreo, man. You got that white filling we used to call you that.
Yep.
And then and then to really antagonize you, we would buy some Oreos and then just snatch them apart, man. Snatch them apart and then take the cream off and throw them at you and all this old kind of stuff. I mean, we've been sold out by our own people if there was a revolution, we would have to kill half of our own people first.
Man, you preaching right now.
We would have to go get them first, man. Because the first
Maybe not
thing,
half, but quite a few.
look, Buck, I'm telling you, look, man, I ain't with that. I ain't with that. I'm not with that Negro Reggie. Master, you don't master shoot. I just bees on the show. Master, knows I just tries not to say that. And that's our own people. And
Jesus' disciples denied him. Peter denied him 3 times.
Absolutely. And that's just Run DMC.
Let me say something. They didn't know better. They didn't know about a God in heaven. That's different.
Jesus told them, he said, Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times. And Peter said, no, I would never do that, Lord. No.
Yeah, but see, he didn't really understand that. They didn't really understand the God process until they came back when he had the holes in his hand.
Later on, yes.
You see what I'm saying? When he came, when he was here for the Pentecost before he ascended on into heaven. See what I'm saying?
So how many times, I need to bring that up. I'm gonna have to look that up, and then Base, you're gonna have to hook it up. Dr. Julia Hare, when she was at that Tavis Smiley thing, where she explained about black leaders and leading blacks. Where she broke that down, where the black leaders are getting paid while we are being played. Hey. And that, that's been going on. I'm gonna find that.
I'm about to say that ain't new.
Right. Listen, there's never the truth. And listen, it's like You Bet Your Life. They sitting in the elites out in the back room, and they got this big wheel with a bunch of these Negroes on there, and they say, we're going to spin it. And they spin the wheel, right? And they say, whoever it falls on, that's who they call.
Right.
They said, look, that's what you get the call. Bring. Hey, yeah, Reg, what's up? Hey, how you doing?
Well, they had a philosophy for that, right?
What is it, Dr. Ron?
Okay. When a group of one set of blacks are Democrat, then you have another set of blacks that are Republican. They say the reason for this is because whoever wins, we still got somebody in the office that we can go to and get something done. That's their philosophy.
Right.
Okay. Because they have always had a group of people that say, well, you all got the Democratic side covered. We'll cover the Republican side and we'll stay in the game.
Oh yeah, man.
Okay, but the problem with that ideology is that once they get in there, they forget about those that got them in. All they do is do the self thing, the self-preservation.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Self pocketbook.
We've had some great people, that's in artists that run a DMC called them sucker MCs, and so we got a bunch of we got to listen. Some of our great poets, Flavor of Flav, and from the
He's a poet.
yeah,
Public Enemy.
Who did he run with? What was the dude that he
Chuck
run
D.
with?
Charles D.
Yeah, Chuck of D.
Right.
Chuck
of D. Right.
Chuck of D, and then Flavor of Flav. All these in Public Enemy. These were great poets, and they rap some of these things, but yet and still, see, it's like the rap and all of these kind of things. It just puts us in a trance, because we don't never think about this stuff. We still see it, right? Okay, it's like the story of OJ, and we talk about Jay-Z, right? And then when you mention Jay-Z or something like that, we salute it, because he's a great rapper. But again, some of our own people are used to like blow our own minds, so we will never come towards trying to be better than what we are. We get in that ring, we get in that buffer ring, and then we feel like we've made it. You understand? But the real power, we never go after the real power. We just, if we get, they'll let us get rich, right? I mean, they'll let us really, really get rich, but we'll never wealthy. It's plenty rich folk out here. But we're not wealthy enough to control our own destiny.
There you go.
They can still make the call on us, and they still use our own people to come after us. To any uprising. All right, they say, here's one of my favorite ones. I used to always joke about this. And so when we'll be an uprising, hey, get Jesse on the phone. Get him on the phone. Hey, bring, hey, Jess, how you doing? Yeah, look, this is what we need. Hey, Jess, it'd be a good time right now for you to go ahead on and give him, that rhetoric, I am somebody. Yeah. Or that other one, up with dope, down with hope. Come on, Jess, that's what we need. Right?
Bring all of them.
Yeah, bring everything that you got. Put it down on the table. What you say? Oh, Jackie wants to go to London for her birthday. Not Jess. Listen, those plane tickets, everything is laid out for you right now. Same thing with Al. All of them, man. All of them been sell out. So everybody's sold out. Who do we trust? Who do we really trust? Whom do we trust? And listen, we get our minds get blown because what does the dollar say on the back of it?
In God we trust.
You understand? So others pay cash. So or others take cash. And that fine girl, everybody loves this woman from France. All
Monet.
the brothers, yes. Because when you have that girl, when you have her, man, you could do anything. You understand? When you have that French girl, Monet, you can buy women, you could buy everything. It's like, we have this power, but there's no authority.
Well, let me take this time real quick to phase the worlds of my brother's Professor Reggie Miles and Mr. Mike Love. So when you're able to have Monet and you give Monet to certain sellout cotton pickers,
Base.
The deal is done.
The deal is done. The deal is done.
Man, Base, you Metamucil.
Hey, come on. Come on.
You call him
Metamucil. Don't get me started with those words when people use it correctly.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Professor, he cotton candy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's man, shoot, man. You colonic, Base. That was
man. Look, man, when we get off the show, I'm gonna start a rhetoric to work for workman's constipation.
Yeah, there it is right there. There it is. Come on. Y'all on the roll right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, that reading is fallopian. I can dig it. I can dig it. I can dig it. Are we talking about In Living Color, Buck? You know, the character that Damon Wayans used to play, you know, the prisoner Oswald Bates, he used to play that, and then when he's in jail and and all of a sudden he was regurgitating everything. And so he was like Eclipse the Lies and just making all this crazy stuff up that didn't make no sense, but you looked at him and you knew he was a dang fool. And we got some of our people that we look at them and we see that they dang fools, and we just need to ignore some of these, some of these Negroes, but we can't go after them or nothing, like can't do nothing to them. That's why so many of us sell out so quickly, because they know they're gonna get played like Dr. Hare says. Leading blacks, go there because they know they're going to get paid to play us. They're going to be paid to play us. And everybody, and these cats, it's really tough when you're a people that ain't never had nothing.
Come on.
And you like Buck, and this is like before even my time too, but in some black families, man, when they got a color TV, man, you were better than George Jefferson them, man. You understand? People was coming to your crib, man. The Mouses, they done got a color TV. And shoot, the whole neighborhood was coming down there because only one family could afford the color TV. The colored TV, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Which could be taken as a TV owned by a black person.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A colored TV.
A colored TV.
A colored TV.
A colored.
Not color. A colored.
A colored.
TV.
You just don't know how real that is.
And listen, I mean, because a lot of things we take for granted, but it was even one point where it was even a luxury for us to even have a radio.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Because back in the day not even before back in the day, right? But in the 30s, and they was talking about how they would get together and
gather around the radio. For the Joe Louis fights and things like that. Yep. Different things like that. So but now everybody has all kinds of communication gadgets. And so it's almost been like it's almost like the technology is both good and bad at the same time. Because we have all of this stuff, but yet we're still so far apart on the basics. And it's like we can't focus in on the power of this stuff to make that power become more of an adhesive for ourselves, for our own culture, and for what we do. It's hard. A lot of times, man, we don't even want to talk about history. Man, are you crazy? We don't want to talk about history. We don't want to face it. And then probably one of the greatest pieces of history that we may be ignoring is, how did we get through a depression? How did we as a people get through a depression? How did your parents and the grandparents, and how did they do that? What did they do to galvanize and keep themselves together? And that's like a mystery. That's like a mystery to us. Mm-hmm. Because we fighting over this, there's all kinds of killings that's going on and everything. It's like it's more things out here that divide us, and that we can't use those same things to bring us together. Man, one thing, and I gotta do the same as promotion, but my cousin
who lives in Sweden, man, they cousin call me up. They say he's leaving tomorrow. Man, do you know everything? The schedule was changed. Pew! Man, I hadn't seen my cousin in 25, 30 years. So, and I had to see him, but I got cousins that live in both Sweden and Germany. I have international. I have Swedish relatives, you know. I have this. And you know, I'm proud of that. I'm really proud of that. But he said over in Sweden, right? That it only cost them $20 for health care. And he 87. They got, you know, he's 87. And all they need to do is drop $20. And he looked good. 87. You know, for the health care. And then I got a family that lives in Germany. You know, I got part German people in my family. You know, so that's why. And then, you know, Dr. Ron always says is when I go off, it's only one race. It's only one family. It's the human race. It's a human race, and that's why when people be talking about, you know, black and stuff like that, that's why I said, man, don't call me that. I'm a human. You know, I'm a huge man. I have a tone. You know, I'm a huge. So, you know, it's a lot of things that's, you know, we get into, but the real thing is like family, man. That's the real substance, man.
That's the real thing.
Family.
That's it. Family always.
That's all we got.
Thank you all. You have been connected to SNN Street News Now. 6 Guys and You. We do it every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel and type in SNN Street News Now. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. For Dr. Ron, for Professor Reggie Miles, for Mike Love, for Buck Wheezy, for our Alita's fearless leader out there driving, Ali Michaels, I'm Chris Bass. Continue to be peaceful. Before we get out of here, Professor, give us a hearty good night.
Good night.